Hello everyone, welcome to the 5 Minutes PM podcast. Today I like to talk about capital projects. A lot of people did not understand what is a capital project. So basically, a capital project is a long-term investment. The most visible way to explain what is a capital project is when we can see a construction, a big road, a big airport, a nuclear power plant. These are very capital-intensive projects. And I'm not saying only in money. I'm saying money, labor, complexity. And they require a very solid understanding of all the interfaces. They are related to the capital expenditures, or what we call Capex. So if we go back to an organization, basically an organization has two kinds of expenditures. The first one is what we call Opex, or operational expenditures, and the other one is Capex, the capital expenditures. The Opex are all costs related to operation, related to our routine process, to the way you currently make money in the organization. Capex is everything related to add value to your operations. It's to really implement a new generation of energy that will supply energy for a lower cost or at a better stability, for example. So all these capital projects, they require a very solid project management. You may ask me, Ricardo, is it completely different managing this kind of project from a normal project? I would say no. If you go back to the deep root of these two projects, you will find basically the same aspects. You need to clearly understand the work that must be done. You need to clearly understand which kind of resources do you need for that project. You need to understand all the stakeholders. What is the interference and the interest of each stakeholder? So this is basically the normal. So what makes this project so challenging? It's because the level of complexity of each of these elements is so big that it changes completely the landscape. Imagine when you are doing a power plant, a hydroelectric power plant, and you plan to flood a big piece of land to make the reservoir. So imagine people that are living in this. So you need to manage the community, and you need to manage the environmental agents. You need to manage the shareholders. So everything. So this is what makes these projects very complex. The second aspect that makes these projects also very complex, that they are long-term. So you need to be very good on forecasting things. Because if they are long-term, they are much more vulnerable to environmental factors. Like, for example, exchange rates. Like, for example, government regulation. They are much more vulnerable to this kind of environment. So this is why they require a lot of attention. And on the top of that, they expand many times. They are mega projects. I'm talking about spending billions of US dollars. They require thousands of employees. So it's very, very important. And on my final note, I said a lot about roads, power plants, but you may have an IT project that could be a capital project. Let's suppose that you are implementing an ERP that will change completely the landscape of your organization. That will take years. So this is also a capital expenditure. So it's a project that will require a notable amount of money and labor, that it's a very long-term oriented. So this is also a capital project. So next time when someone talks to you about a capital project, now you know what do they mean by that. Remember, capital projects related to capital expenditures related to long-term investment. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope it was helpful to you, and see you next week with another 5 Minutes PM podcast.